shout out to all HBCUs across the country. Someone sent me an article pertaining to the fact that Jackson State has a Mexican female kicker. A Mexican female kicker. I believe this is the first time ever an HBCU has had a female kicker. It might be the first time any Division I football team has had a female kicker. I don't have a problem with the female kicker, and I don't really have a problem with the overall situation. As you know, HBCUs that are state-owned, they cannot practice race-first politics. They have to be multicultural by design, okay? But I want Jackson State University to be careful, and I want all HBCUs to be careful because, as I've said before, because America is gentrifying black people with brown people, because America is gentrifying black people with brown people, because America is gentrifying black people with brown people, this Mexican kicker, this female Mexican kicker, this young lady at Jackson State who's playing on the football team, this could be a strategy for cultural colonization by the migrants. I want HBCUs to be careful. This female Mexican kicker at Jackson State, much respect to the Mexican people, no disrespect to your nation, but I see this as a potential avenue that can be exploited by the American white power structure and the migrant agenda to gentrify the HBCU campus with migrants and other Latinos. Please be careful. Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. Because if you have all these migrants coming into America, all these South American Latinos coming into America, they're going to want to ultimately get into college and things like that. The PWIs is only going to take but so many of them. The PWIs are only going to take but so many of them, so they're going to have to redirect them to the HBCU. And let's remember what Joe Biden did. It's all starting to make sense now. Let's remember what your democratically elected president Joe Biden did after he took office the first year. Joe Biden changed the White House initiative on HBCUs. Remember this? We talked about this. I did a live on this. Do y'all remember? About 2 years ago, President Joe Biden changed the name of the White House initiative on the HBCU. He changed it to the White House initiative on minority serving institutions and universities. Minority serving institutions and universities. Minority serving institutions and universities. So what I think is going on, let me tell you what I think is going on. The reason Joe Biden changed the name from the White House initiative on the HBCU to the White House initiative on minority serving institutions and colleges, they're going to target the HBCU. And they're going to offer the HBCUs millions of dollars to let the migrants into the university. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. Listen to me. What are the HBCUs going to do when Joe Biden offers them millions of dollars to allow large numbers of migrants to attend the HBCUs? You and I both know that these greedy HBCU presidents, not all but many of these greedy HBCU presidents are going to look at the money. They're going to look at the money and they're going to take the money and they're going to let the migrants gentrify the HBCUs. Trust me, it's coming. Trust me, it is coming. And in case you don't know, they already have Afghan refugees. They already have Afghan refugees and Ukrainian refugees living at some HBCU campuses. They already have Afghan refugees and Ukrainian refugees already living at some HBCU campuses. So if they already got the Afghanis and the Ukrainians at the HBCU campus, it's only a hop, skip, and a jump to bring the migrants on in. I promise you, these HBCUs with low enrollment, these HBCU campuses with low enrollment, these HBCU campuses with low enrollment, they're going to be the new university home, and they're going to be the new shelter in place for anti-black South American migrants who are being brought to America to gentrify the black community, to eliminate the black community. So that's the one thing. That's the one thing. Coppin State entire baseball team is 100% white and Latino. I did not know that. I don't know if that's true. Maybe somebody from Coppin State can verify. Maybe someone from Coppin State can verify. Maybe someone from Coppin State can verify whether or not the baseball team has been thoroughly gentrified. Has the baseball team at Cotton State been thoroughly gentrified? Has the baseball team at Coppin State been thoroughly gentrified with anti-black Latinos and Caucasians? So we need an HBCU watch. You know how you have a black town watch? We need an HBCU watch. This is what I want. If you are an HBCU student, listen to me, HBCU Africans. Listen to me, HBCU Africans. Listen to me. If you are an HBCU student, professor, parent, or staff member, if you are an HBCU student, parent, professor, or staff member, I'm putting together a black FBI to spy on the HBCUs. I'm putting together a black FBI to spy on the HBCUs to make sure they are not being overtaken by anti-black agendas. If you want to be my contact person on your campus, this will be strictly confidential. This will be strictly confidential. This will be strictly confidential. If you want to be my contact person at your HBCU, whether you are a parent, a student, a staff, or faculty, please send me a text message and say, Dr. Umar, my name is such and such. I am your contact person at such and such HBCU college, such and such HBCU university, and I will be sending you updates. I will be texting you updates. I will be sending you articles, screenshots, emails to students, and other things to keep you posted on what's happening. We got to have HBCU watch. We got to have HBCU watch. We got to have HBCU watch. You can text me if you want to be my contact person, and I'm depending on you to send me information about what's being done on your campus, whether it's a rainbow agenda, transformer agenda, immigrant agenda, migrant agenda, defund agenda, shutdown agenda, whatever's going on, sex trafficking agenda, poor facilities agenda, too many white professors agenda, whatever's going on. Shoot me a text, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. I have nothing against the young Mexican lady. She wants to be a football kicker. I hope she live her dream. She might end up in the NFL. Kudos to her. I have nothing against that young Mexican-American young lady. But I'm saying that this is how they infiltrate. It always starts with one person. And then we celebrate the one person. Just like that live I put up yesterday about that Asian marrying a Nigerian. And all the brothers are dancing with him like he's Jesus Christ. You think they are in love? You think the Asians are in love with Africans? You think all those Asians are in Nigeria because they love Africans? You think all those Asians are marrying our Nigerian sisters because they love African people? He ain't married into that Nigerian woman because he loved her. He was told to marry her. Asians move out as a group. They are on code. They are on protocol. They are in alignment. They are on agenda. He's marrying her so he can get access to the resources, the land, and the opportunities. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to wake up? Stop assuming. I'm not assuming. You assuming. I know what I'm talking about. You go to the block party. Bring me some ribs with some extra barbecue sauce on them. And bring me some seafood salad. And I love me some Parmesan crusted lamb chops. Ladies, can I get some Parmesan crusted lamb chops? Can King Kong Consciousness get some Parmesan crusted lamb chops? I'm in the mood for some Parmesan. Anybody got some Parmesan crusted lamb chops available in the Philadelphia area? My South Jersey queens, my Delaware queens, my Northern Maryland queens, my Philly queens. I'm in the mood for some Parmesan crusted lamb chops. I just sent that Negro peeing to the block party. But anyway, as I was saying, that Asian is not marrying that Nigerian because he loved black people. China is on a serious global takeover. China wants to replace Neanderthal nation as the lone superpower on the planet Earth. And every time we see a person of another color, I am not a bigot. I can't be a racist because I don't control the opportunities, the resources, or the privileges. I can't be a racist. I can be a racial bigot, which I am not. But I cannot be racist because I don't control resources, opportunities, and privileges. But I'm very disappointed in African people worldwide. I'm talking to the global African family right now. I'm talking to the global African family right now. I am very disappointed. Every time a non-African decides to invade our private space, we celebrate them. Can somebody tell me why we do this? I know why we do this, but can you tell me why? Why is it when an Asian decides to marry an African woman and participate in a traditional Nigerian wedding, we celebrate them? When a white person decides to be a rapper, a hip hop artist, we celebrate them. When somebody from another race decides they want to make soul food, black music, we celebrate. Why do we celebrate colonization and exploitation? Why do we celebrate colonization and exploitation? Why do we celebrate colonization and exploitation? Now, let me ask you a question. If I went to China or Korea and married a Chinese or Korean woman and decided to participate in a Chinese or Korean wedding, do you think the Chinese men or the Korean men or the Chinese women and the Korean women would be up there celebrating their culture with me? Do you really think they would be happy that I would be marrying a Chinese woman or a Korean woman? Do you really think they would be happy with me wearing their traditional clothing? Do you really think they would be happy with me dancing to their traditional music? I've been to China. I know how they feel about black people. I've been to Japan. I know how they feel about black people. But whenever somebody wants to invade our cultural space, we are so thirsty for validation and approval from non-blacks. We've been beat down by white power globally for so long that we're so thirsty for validation and approval by non-blacks. Please cut the nonsense. Please cut the nonsense. Now, somebody took issue with me holding LeBron James, Rich Paul, and Floyd Mayweather accountable for siding with the untouchable nation in their war. They said you had no right to do that. LeBron James, Rich Paul, Floyd Mayweather, and many other European-controlled athletes had every right to align themselves with a group of people who participated in African slavery and has never atoned for it, apologized for it, paid reparations, or been held accountable. Y'all say that the untouchable community is innocent. Well, let me say this to you. Are you aware that when there was a boycott against South African apartheid, I'm taking you back to the 90s now. I'm taking you back to the night. Are you aware that even when America decided to boycott South Africa, are you aware that when most of the world decided to boycott South Africa for practicing apartheid against our South African brothers and sisters? Shout out to my Xhosa family, my Khoi family, my Swazi family. Shout out to my Zulu family. Are you aware that when the whole world was boycotting South African apartheid, Untouchable Nation continued to support apartheid and supply the apartheid government with weapons and bombs to kill our South African brothers and sisters? Talk black to me, African family. Talk black to me, African family. Is LeBron James aware of that? Is Rich Paul aware of that? Is Money Mayweather aware that when South Africa was being boycotted for racial domination and destruction of our South African brothers and sisters, the Untouchable Nation, the nation of untouchables, continued to support South Africa? They did not care about our South African brothers and sisters. They continued to supply the apartheid government with weapons and bombs and support. What LeBron James got to say now? What Money Mayweather got to say now? What Rich Paul got to say now? Aligning yourself with a group of people that ain't never stood up for blacks. Aligning yourself with a group of people ain't never stood up for African people. Let me go to another topic. You cannot fool a historically conscious person. That is a direct quote from one of my ancestor psychologists, Dr. 𝚂𝚻𝙺𝚁𝙸𝙱𝚴, fellow Leo. That is a direct quote from black psychologist, Pan-Africanist, Dr. 𝚂𝚻𝙺𝚁𝙗. He said, quote, you cannot fool. He said you cannot oppress a historically conscious people. I'm changing it up. I'm saying you cannot fool a historically conscious person. Now I want to go to one more thing. Somebody sent me a clip of a black woman, one of our sisters in America, American African sister. American African sister. She was pregnant with child, or she is pregnant with child. She was dating two men, two brothers, and she got pregnant. And she didn't know which man was the biological father. She didn't know which man was the biological father. So she decided to invite both potential fathers to the baby shower. People ridiculed her. They condemned her. What are you doing? That is trifling. How are you going to invite two men to the baby shower? I totally disagree. I totally disagree. Yes, she should have known who her child's father was. We all understand that. Yes, she should have known who her child's father was. We all understand that. Yes, she should have known who her child's father was. We all should have understood that. That was a mistake on her part. I'm sure she's aware. But I appreciate her honesty and integrity in dealing with the situation. How many black women do you know, if they are unsure of the father, is going to go to both men and say, listen, I slept with both of y'all this month. You was unprotected. My side piece had a condom on. It split. It came off. My loosey-goosey sucked it off. Whatever the case is, how many black women you know are going to go to the two men who could be the child's father and say, listen, I'm not going to play no games with you. I had sex with another man this month. I had sex within a 30-day period with two different men. I don't know which one of you is the father. I'm inviting both of y'all to the baby shower. How many women you know have that kind of honesty and integrity? How many women do you know have that kind of honesty and integrity? Most black women would have done what? Because I know a lot of men who found out later the baby wasn't theirs. I know a lot of men who found out later the baby was not theirs. I know a lot of men who found out later that the baby was not theirs. A lot of women will simply play Russian roulette with one man's emotions. A lot of women will simply play Russian roulette with one man's emotions, and they would simply take a guess. I think it's his, or I want it to be his. And they will play the whole pregnancy like it's one man's child. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you sisters are guilty. Some of you brothers have experienced this. Some of you sisters are guilty. Some of you brothers have experienced this. Some of you sisters are guilty. Some of you brothers have experienced this when you're led to believe the child is yours, only to find out after the child is born, or 10 years later, or 20 years later, or 30 years later, when your child need a organ transplant, or your child need a blood transfusion, and you find out at your son's 21st birthday that you are not his biological father. You understand me? We got so many women who have done that to men. Blamed them for being the father, accused them for being the father, labeled them as the dad, and they never were. So I appreciate this sister being honest enough with these two men. And guess what? Both of the brothers came. Shout out to those two brothers. Both of the brothers came. They say, listen, we didn't like this, but this is the way it is. We appreciate you for being honest with us, and we are both going to be here. And whoever is the father, God bless him. And whoever is not the father, he can be the godfather. Whoever is not the father, he can be the godfather, because you can't expect a man to go through 9 months of wondering and wishing only to find out the child is not his. He can be the godfather. So shout out to the two brothers who were humble enough to respect this sister for being honest, who are humble enough to come to the baby shower and say, it is what it is. If this is my child, I want my child to know that I was there. If this is my child, I want my child to know I was there. And if this is not my child, congratulations to this other brother, and maybe I'll be the godfather. So I don't look at it the way y'all look at it. I think something has to be said for women who can be honest. Yeah, she was a little loose in the booty. Yeah, we know that. She was a little loose in the booty, but yet and still, she decided to be honest and come clean about her indiscretions, and I can respect that sister for that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, let me get to the Deion Sanders situation, because some of y'all took issue with my post this morning. Let me get to the Deion Sanders situation real quick. Some of y'all took issue with my post. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Let me say this. Let me say this. Deion Sanders. I did watch the first half of the game. I turned it off because Colorado was clearly in control of that football game. As I've told you before, I will never forgive Deion for abandoning the HBCU mission. He had the chance of rewriting history on behalf of Black America. He sold it out for a white college and some money. But that's water under the bridge. We can't take it back. Maybe he'll go back to an HBCU sooner than later. We're not here to talk about that. In watching the highlights of the Colorado game, and I'm going to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith in a minute too, because I got a little bit of issue with Sister Jada Pinkett Smith disrespecting my Philadelphia brother Will Smith. He's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm the Fresh Prince of Pan-Africanism. Will Smith is the Fresh Prince of West Philly. I'm the Fresh Prince of North Philly. I'm going to come to Jada Pinkett Smith in a minute, but let me stay with Deion for 1 second, if I may, brothers and sisters. Let me stay with Deion for 1 second. When I reviewed the highlights of Colorado's stunning loss to Stanford yesterday, when I reviewed the highlights of the Colorado Buffaloes' stunning defeat to Stanford last night in their comeback win, From a psychological perspective, you know what I saw? I saw the young men of the Colorado football team begin to psychologically check out. They played their hearts out early, but I believe they got exhausted. And I don't think it was a physical exhaustion. I think it was an emotional exhaustion. I'm not making any excuses for the loss or the win. I'm not making any excuses for the loss or for the win. But I'm simply saying that I think Deion and 𝚂𝚸𝙺𝚴, who I think is going to end up making history in both the NCAA and the NFL, that is one heck of a quarterback right there. I pray that he's not bunny hopping. I pray that none of the Sanders sons are bunny hopping. That is my prayer. But good luck with that at a school with only 2% black women. But nonetheless, Umar loved to hate on black men. I'm not hating on anybody. Goodbye. Goodbye. So, I believe that the team, the Colorado Buffaloes, I believe they are getting exhausted and burned out from constantly having to live up to Deion Sanders' reputation. I think they're getting tired and burned out of constantly hearing about Deion and his son, almost to the exclusion of all the other players. All I'm saying is I want Deion because I want him to be successful since he's there. I want him to be successful since he's there. I'm simply saying that I want Deion and 𝚂𝚸𝙺𝚀 to back off the self-promotion for a minute and get this team back, because I think a lot of them feel like they're simply being exploited to fulfill the agenda of two individuals. That's what I believe. I think the rest of the team is beginning to give up. And you don't want a situation. You don't want a situation where they all psychologically check out, just like you drop out of school psychologically. Children psychologically drop out of school before they physically drop out of school. Children psychologically drop out of school before they physically drop out of school. And I'm hoping that the Colorado Buffaloes team isn't beginning to psychologically drop out, because they played so well in the first half. And I don't know what was said during halftime. I don't know what was said during halftime, but I believe that those young men were just exhausted. Not just from the game, not just from Stanford's comeback, but exhausted because they are the center of the sports world, but they don't have the chess pieces yet to live up to the hype. Yes, they've already won more games than they did last year. Yes, they will probably end up in a bowl game. Absolutely. Yes, Deion has already made history with what he has done. Yes. But that has nothing to do with those young men. That has nothing to do with those 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-old boys on that field. It has nothing to do with them feeling like they are being held to a standard greater than all of the other Division I football players, and yet they don't have the talent to substantiate the expectations of Deion Sanders' grandiose history as a player and his possible grandiose ego. Coach Prime, when you do these interviews, my brother, and I think Deion does a good job with the interviews. He's not emotional. He always thanks his coaches and his team. But Deion, you got to be careful when you start saying things like, I want children who can embrace the moment. I want children who can live up to the moment. When I heard Coach Prime's post-game interview last night, when I heard Coach Prime's post-game interview last night, if I was a parent listening to the post-game interview, if I was a parent listening to the post-game interview, I would have been offended by some of the comments I think Deion inadvertently made. He didn't try to insult his players. He didn't try to demean his players, and he did come back and clean it up later. But if I'm a parent of a child playing on that team who's not getting any attention but playing a significant role on that field, and I hear the coach say we ain't ready for the moment and they shouldn't be here if they ain't ready for the moment, and I'm looking for players who ready for the moment. I understood where he was coming from. But some of his comments, not just those, some of his comments could have been taken as a bit insensitive for a group of boys who just lost a close game. Deion does have to make it less about him and more about his players. We know what a great NFL superstar he was. Historic superstar. But every interview does not have to be about how often he won in college. Every interview doesn't have to be about how great he was as a player. Every interview doesn't have to be about, I'm not used to losing like this. He just got to be a little careful and stop bringing it back to him, because I don't want them boys to get together and decide we ain't playing no more. We just going to go through the motions. Because what I saw last night, I saw a team that quit. Yes, they got beat on runs. Yes, they didn't run routes. Yes, there was missed assignments, but y'all got to look beyond the play. Beyond the play, I saw a team that quit. And because I saw a team that quit, I have to ask the question whether or not they are getting exhausted. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Now, Jada Pinkett Smith, my beautiful African queen from Baltimore. Shout out to my Baltimore Africans. Shout out to I will be coming to Baltimore soon. Black bookstore. I will be coming to Baltimore soon. Shout out to my Baltimore Africans. Shout out to my Baltimore Africans. Shout out to my Baltimore. Travis Hunter just came back from an injury. You got to give him some time to work himself back in. He scored a touchdown. He also stopped a lot of good passes. I like Travis Hunt. Wait a minute. I like him as an athlete, but I do believe Travis is bunny hopping. And Travis, if you're listening to your big brother King Kong consciousness, please stop bunny hopping, my brother. She's taking away your melanin energy. She's taking away all of your melanin energy, my brother. Travis, you have to stop bunny hopping, my brother. She's taking your melanin juices out of you, my good brother. Now, let me talk to Jada Pinkett Smith. Let me talk to Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith, I am so tired of you embarrassing my brother Will Smith. Miss Jada Pinkett Smith, I am so tired of you embarrassing my brother Will Smith. Every time you get in front of a TV, you got to do some disrespectful shit that is unbecoming of a wife. The things you say out of your mouth, Sister Jada. The things you say out of your mouth, Sister Jada Pinkett Smith, I don't think they need to be said. You already had my man go up there and smack the dog shit out of Chris Rock. You already had my man go up there and smack the dog shit out of Chris Rock, which caused him to be suspended from the Oscars for about a year. Not that we care, because when Queen Mother Ancestor Hattie McDaniel won an Oscar, when Queen Mother Ancestor Hattie McDaniel won an Oscar, when Queen Mother Ancestor Hattie McDaniel won an Oscar, she couldn't even come out front to receive her Oscar. I think they brought the Oscar to her backstage. So I don't give a damn about no Academy of Coons Awards. I don't care nothing about the Academy of Coon Awards. I want to make sure we understand that. I could give a damn about the Academy of Coons Awards. Let's just be very clear. That damn statue is the statue of a slave master. So I'm not concerned about that. But you could have diffused that situation a little bit better. Now you turning around telling the world that Chris Rock wanted to clap your flat ass cheeks. First of all, Jada, no disrespect, because you're a beautiful woman in the face. But you ain't got no body. You ain't 5'5", thick in the thighs by no stretch of any man's imagination. Now, if Chris Rock told you he wanted to clap your cheeks as a get back at, and Chris Rock, you was out of line for doing that, but I can understand Will Smith embarrassed you, so you want to get him back by clapping his wife's cheeks. I understand. But Jada, what did you do in response to Chris Rock asking to clap your cheeks? Why did Chris Rock feel so comfortable to ask you if he could clap your cheeks? See, when a woman comes to you, black fellas, I hope my brothers is listening to me. I hope all my African alpha males, I want all my unapologetically African alpha males to listen to your big brother, Dr. Umar, right now. I want all of my anti-snow bunny, unapologetically African alpha males, I want you to check into your big brother, Notorious RBG, one time. If your woman ever come home saying that a man solicited sex from her in a very private manner, not vulgar, not boisterous, not out loud, not disrespectful. If a man pulled your woman to the side and solicited sex from your woman, you got to be a little suspicious. If a man pulls your woman to the side and solicits sex from your queen, you got to be a little suspicious. If a man pulled your wife to the side and solicited sexual relations with your woman, you got to be a little suspicious. What did she do to make him so comfortable, feeling like he can make it advance? What did she do that made him so comfortable that he felt like he could make a sexual advance? Is this not suspicious? Is this not suspicious? Is this not suspicious? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I give Chris Rock a little bit too much credit. I don't think Chris Rock asked Jada if he could clap those flat lemonade cheeks. I don't think he did that. I don't think he did that. I do not think Chris Rock asked Jada if he could clap those flat cheeks of hers. I don't think he did. But why announce that to the world? Why stir up this conflict again between a man you claim you love and his nemesis? You got on TV and told the world, sitting next to your husband, that you had sex with your son's friend. Why did you feel the need to go on national television, sitting next to your son, next to your husband, and tell the world you slept with your son's friend? And that's not enough. Now you telling everybody that Tupac proposed to you while he was in prison. Now, Jada, everybody know you and Tupac were soulmates. Y'all should have gotten married. He probably wasn't ready to settle down at the time. You were more focused on your career. He wanted to be a thug. You wasn't feeling it. I understand. We all know you and Tupac have a history. I understand that. But if Tupac Shakur, my greatest rapper of all time, if Tupac Shakur, my greatest rapper of all time, if Tupac Shakur proposed to you in prison, Jada, he might have. I don't believe it's impossible that he could have proposed to you. But what I do find impossible is you waiting 25 years to tell the world that Tupac proposed to you. Are you trying to get Will Smith to divorce you so you can take half of his fortune and just separate from Will and do your own thing? I'm kind of getting the feeling, Sister Jada. I'm kind of getting the feeling, Sister Jada. I'm kind of getting the feeling, Sister Jada, that you want Will to divorce you, but you don't want to ask for the divorce. You need it to be initiated by Will because you know how much people would have a problem with you running off with half of that black man's fortune that you did not help build. So you trying to piss Will off so much and frustrate my West Philadelphia brother so much that he just throw his hands up and say, I can't take it no more with this woman. Give her half and give me peace. I think Jada simply wants Will Smith to throw up his hands and say, give her half so y'all can give me peace. I simply believe she wanted to throw up she want Will Smith to throw up his hands and say, give her half so you can give me peace. I don't want Will Smith to do that. Will Smith, if you're watching your brother, I don't want you to do that. It is cheaper to keep her. Jada not taking half your fortune, my brother. No, sir. We not doing that. I know she's not a snow bunny, but she still ain't taking half of your fortune. We not doing that. Stay legally married to her, but move on with your life. Stay legally married to her, but move on with your life. Because what we ain't going to do is give her half your money so she can run off doing whatever the hell she want with your damn money. Nah, we not doing them. We not doing that. We not doing that. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I believe Brother Will loves his wife. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I believe Will Smith loves that woman. I'm giving y'all the real. I'm giving y'all the real. I think he loved that woman. And she knows it. And I think she's using it to piss him off. I don't know what's going on in their life. I don't know if he done something to piss her off. I don't know what's going on. But nobody's wife should constantly be exposing things that should be kept behind a closed door between a man and a woman. Now, I know she got the new book coming out. Jada, you got the new book coming out. I see you got the new book. You want to sell some books. So I know a lot of this stuff, like Tupac proposed to you, that's all coming out now because you want to sell some books. I understand. But Jada Pinkett, I love you, my sister. Set It Off was a classic. Set It Off was a classic. What was the other one she was at with Old Dog? What was that? Minister Society was a classic, sister. You got a couple classic movies. Please fall back and act like you're act your age. Please fall back, Sister Jada Pinkett Smith, and act your age. And let me say this to Sister Jada. I'm going to say this to Sister Vivica. I love my Sister Vivica too. And I'm going to say this to all black women. Can y'all please stop getting face injections? Can y'all please stop getting face injections? Please stop getting face. Sister Jada Pinkett, you were a beautiful woman. You're still a beautiful woman. But Sister Jada, your face is stunningly beautiful. You always had a stunningly beautiful face. Why in the hell did you inject whatever you injected in your face that got your cheekbones looking like you just got out of a boxing match with Mike Tyson at 18 years old? What did you do to your cheekbones, Sister Jada Pinkett? Sister Jada Pinkett, is those cheek implants? Did you get lipo injections? What the hell did you do to your cheekbones? You look like you went 5 rounds with Mike Tyson. What did you do with your cheekbones? Vivica Fox, another beautiful African sister. Vivica Fox, what did you do with your cheeks? Your face was beautiful. It looked like you went 10 rounds with Devontae Tank Davis. You look like you went 10 rounds with Devontae Tank Davis. Black women, please stop messing with your face and your titties. Stop. Can we stop it? Knock it off, black. Well, stop. Why are beautiful women getting surgeries? Little Kim, drop dead gorgeous when she was with Junior Mafia. Drop dead gorgeous. Why? And I love Little Kim. Shout out to Little Kim. Shout out to Vivica. Shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith. I ain't got nothing against her, but I got a ride for my West Philly brother, Fresh Prince. Now, somebody told me the reason we have so many black female celebrities getting surgery. Somebody told me the reason we have so many black female celebrities getting surgery. Somebody told me why we got so many black women, period. Working class, middle class, upper class, bougie class, celebrity class. I was told the reason why so many black women are getting surgery is because the 40-something-year-olds feel the need to keep up with the 30-something and the 20-something-year-olds. Ladies, is that true? I'm talking to my 𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚁𝙸𝙱𝚴 Queendom chat. I'm talking to my Germaniacs. I'm talking to my ladies. I'm reading the comments on my Instagram feed. Ladies, is that true? Are y'all getting surgery because y'all feel the need to keep up with looking young with the 30 and the 20-year-olds? Can somebody tell me? Miss Armsfield said yes. Destiny said, Dr. Umar, you are so fine and so knowledgeable. And yes, I'm a black queen with natural locks. Yes, it is. Divine Melanin 92 said, yes, it is. Keeney J said it's not. Tabitha Montgomery said that ain't got nothing to do with it. The Real Forever Grace said, I'm 45 and I'll never do it. Miss Melanin Cheek said, I think they are doing it. Listen. It's self-hate. This is what I want to say to my African queens in your 40s. To my African queens in your 40s. Listen. You will never be able to compete physically with a 27-year-old. You can't. You understand me? Even with an artificial body, you can't. Now, here's what I want to understand with my 40 and 50-year-old queens. Why are you trying to compete? I have no desire to compete with my 20-year-old brothers. I have no desire to compete with my 27-year-old brothers. I have no desire to compete with my 30-year-old brothers. I have no desire to compete with my I have no desire. I love who I am. I love my age. I'm glad I'm still on this planet to fight for African liberation. Black women, you got to change your thinking. Black women, you had your time. You had your hot girl summer. You had your Greek picnics. You had your freakniks with your ass cheeks hanging out of the extra small blue jeans that you cut off. You had your time creeping around the college campuses giving that goose out. You had your time. Why can't you let it go and move gracefully into pre-elderhood? What's wrong with moving gracefully into pre-elderhood? What's wrong with being 47? You made it. 47. You've accomplished. You've raised children. You got your business. You got your degree. Why are you trying to compete with a 27-year-old? Your yoniverse will never be like hers. Your butt will never bounce like hers. Your breasts will never stand at attention again like hers. Why are you competing with them young girls? Why can't you be happy that you moving into pre-elderhood? Why can't you be happy that you moving into pre-elderhood? In African culture, we value age. The older you get, the more respect. The older you get, the wiser you are. The older you get, the more honor is bestowed upon you. I did not say 47 was elderhood. Somebody's not listening. Somebody's not listening, but I'm going to stay focused. 65 is generally regarded as elderhood. But when you hit 50, you're 15 years away. So it's time to start transitioning away from getting all the attention in the club. It's time to start transitioning away from getting all the attention at church. It's time to start transitioning about being more preoccupied with how many men are looking at your ass than with how you're going to contribute to the development of the next generation of black girls. Once you hit 45 years old, your whole train of thinking should change. I didn't say you should stop exercising. I didn't say you should stop caring about your body, because we know black don't crack. We know black don't crack. I didn't say you had to give up on yourself. No, I did not. I said you should not be competing with women in the next generation. I said you should not be artificializing your body. You should not be artificializing your body to compete with girls in the next generation. You should not be trying to look like your daughter. You should not be trying to look like your daughter. You should not be trying to dress like your daughter. You should not be trying to compete like your daughter. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.